Welcome to the Psychology and Physical Training channel. The importance of non-probability sampling. Have you ever wondered why researchers often resort to non-probability sampling methods in their studies? Well, the answer lies in the unique advantages these techniques offer. Non-probability sampling methods, while not providing a complete representation of the population, can still provide valuable insights. They can be particularly useful when exploring new phenomena or when the population is hard to reach. These techniques also shine in their ease of implementation. Unlike probability sampling methods, which often require complex procedures and substantial resources, non-probability sampling is often easier and less costly to carry out. This makes them a go-to choice for many researchers, especially when working under time or budget constraints. But it's not just about convenience or cost-effectiveness. Non-probability sampling techniques can also enable researchers to delve deeper into specific areas or groups, offering rich, nuanced data that broad-based approaches may miss. So, let's delve into the various types of non-probability sampling techniques and understand their unique characteristics and uses. Convenience sampling explained. First up, we have convenience sampling, a method that lives up to its name. This sampling technique is a type of non-probability sampling where researchers select subjects that are easiest to reach or readily available. A bit like grabbing the first box of cereal you see in the supermarket aisle because it's right there, within your grasp. Convenience sampling is aptly named for its simplicity. It's straightforward, cost-effective, and time-efficient, making it a popular choice for preliminary research phases. Think of it as a snapshot, a quick capture of data that can offer immediate insights. It's the go-to method when you need to gather information quickly and inexpensively. But just as grabbing the first box of cereal doesn't guarantee it's the best one for your breakfast, convenience sampling has its limitations. The primary concern is the potential for bias. Because the sample is selected based on what's easy to access, it may not accurately represent the population as a whole. For example, if you're studying student behaviors and you only survey students in one classroom, your results may not reflect the behaviors of all students in the school. Another drawback is the risk of non-representativeness. Since the sample is not selected randomly, certain characteristics may be over or underrepresented. This could lead to skewed results that don't accurately portray the larger population. So, while convenience sampling is like a quick snapshot, remember that it might not capture the full picture. It's a helpful tool for gathering initial data and insights, particularly when resources are limited. However, researchers must be mindful of its limitations and potential for bias. In essence, convenience sampling is efficient and economical, but it may not always provide the most accurate results. It's a bit like choosing the quickest route on a journey. It might get you there faster, but it doesn't necessarily show you all the sights along the way. Decoding quota sampling. Next on the list is quota sampling, a method that ensures diversity. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is quota sampling? Well, it's a non-probability sampling technique where the researcher divides the population into specific groups or quotas. The researcher then selects subjects from each group to ensure representation from all groups. Imagine you're conducting a study on the reading habits of people in your city. You could divide the population into quotas based on age, gender, or occupation. For each of these groups, you'd aim to collect a certain number of responses. This ensures that your sample includes perspectives from all walks of life, not just the most vocal or accessible groups. Now, quota sampling has its perks. It allows for diversity in a sample, which is critical when you're researching a broad topic that could be influenced by a variety of factors. It's also relatively quick and cost-effective since you're not required to randomize your sample. But like any other method, quota sampling has its drawbacks too. The most significant one being the potential for bias in the selection process. Since the researcher is handpicking the subjects, it's possible that their personal biases could influence who gets selected. For instance, if a researcher unconsciously favors a particular group, that group might end up being overrepresented in the study. Another downside is that quota sampling doesn't ensure that every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. This could potentially skew the results and make them less generalizable to the larger population. So, when should you use quota sampling? It's ideal when you need to ensure representation from specific subgroups within your population. It's also beneficial when you have limited resources and need to gather data quickly. In a nutshell, quota sampling is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows for a diverse sample, ensuring representation from all groups. On the other hand, the selection process can introduce bias, potentially affecting the validity of your results. So there you have it. Quota sampling allows for a diverse sample, yet the selection process can introduce bias. Unraveling the snowball technique. Now let's roll into the snowball technique, a method that gathers momentum as it progresses. Picture a snowball rolling down a hill. As it descends, it picks up more and more snow, growing larger with each revolution. This is a simple way to visualize the snowball technique in research sampling. This technique works in a similar way. It starts with a small group of initial subjects, often referred to as seeds. These seeds are asked to refer others from their network who fit the study criteria. Those referred individuals are then asked to refer others, and so on. The sample size grows, much like our metaphorical snowball, as the process continues. The snowball technique is particularly useful when studying hidden or hard-to-reach populations. These could be groups that are marginalized, stigmatized, or simply difficult to locate. For example, researchers studying homelessness or substance use disorders might struggle to find participants for their studies. By asking initial subjects to refer others, researchers can tap into networks and communities that may otherwise be inaccessible. But like any method, the snowball technique is not without its pitfalls. The key challenge lies in the potential for sample bias. Since the technique relies heavily on subject referrals, the sample may not be representative of the entire population. For instance, people tend to associate with others who share similar traits, backgrounds, or experiences. Therefore, the snowball sample might overrepresent certain characteristics and underrepresent others, leading to skewed results. Moreover, the technique lacks the randomness of probability sampling, which further increases the risk of bias. While the seeds might be chosen randomly, the subsequent subjects are not, which might compromise the study's validity. So, it's crucial for researchers using the snowball technique to be aware of these potential biases and consider ways to mitigate them. Strategies could include diversifying the initial seeds or combining the snowball technique with other sampling methods. While the snowball technique can reach hidden populations, its reliance on subject referrals can lead to sample bias. It's a tool with specific uses, but like all tools, it must be used thoughtfully and carefully to ensure the best possible results. Understanding referral sampling. Lastly, we have referral sampling, a method that taps into the power of networks. In this method, existing participants or subjects refer others who could potentially participate in the research study. It's a bit like a chain reaction. One subject leads to another, and that one to another, and so on. Referral sampling is particularly useful when trying to access hard-to-reach populations. Think about it. Some groups are not easily accessible through traditional sampling methods. These might be people with rare medical conditions, those living in remote locations, or individuals who belong to certain closed communities. In such cases, referral sampling comes into play, leveraging the networks and connections of existing subjects to reach others. However, like all sampling techniques, referral sampling has its limitations. One of the primary concerns is the potential for bias. Since subjects are recruiting others, it's likely they'll refer people they know well, who might share similar characteristics, opinions, or behaviors. This can significantly limit the diversity of the sample, potentially leading to a non-representative sample. Another limitation is the potential for non-response bias. Just because a participant refers someone doesn't mean that person will agree to participate. Those who do agree might be inherently different from those who don't, again leading to a potential bias. Despite these challenges, referral sampling can be a powerful tool for researchers. It's about understanding its strengths and weaknesses and using it appropriately. Remember, no single sampling method is perfect or universally applicable. It's about choosing the right tool for the task at hand. In the end, referral sampling is like the friend who introduces you to new people at a party. It can help you meet individuals you wouldn't have encountered otherwise. But just like that friend, it might also introduce you to a lot of similar people, potentially limiting your experience. So, referral sampling can be a powerful tool to access hard-to-reach groups, but it's not without its potential pitfalls. The key is knowing when and how to use it to your advantage. Summing up non-probability sampling techniques. So what have we learned about non-probability sampling techniques today? Convenience sampling, remember, is akin to picking the low-hanging fruit. It's easy, quick, and efficient, but it may not give you a representative snapshot of the whole tree, or, in our case, the population. Quota sampling, on the other hand, attempts to correct for some of these biases by setting quotas for specific groups. But be warned, it can still suffer from the same pitfalls as convenience sampling if those quotas aren't representative. Then we have the snowball technique, which is like a rolling avalanche, starting small but gaining momentum as it picks up more and more samples. It's excellent for reaching those hard-to-reach populations, but remember, the snowball can still roll off course. And finally, referral sampling, a sort of word-of-mouth method, can reach those hidden populations, but it's heavily reliant on the initial seed of participants. In the end, the choice of sampling method depends on the research question, resources, and the population being studied. But remember, no method is perfect, and each has its strengths and weaknesses. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and follow the Psychology and Physical Training channel for more videos. Thank you for watching.